Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Beacon Breakdown. As always, I'm Mike, and this week we've
I'm
got
back.
he's back, Soren, aka Master Sub, and you are have the honor of being our first return guest here. You showed up once before when we had Keegan on to kind of talk a little bit about sports and that kind of stuff, but you're back again. How does it
Yeah,
feel?
it feels great. We just came back from LAN in Ohio, and sorry we were a little late starting today. We were prepping for our other conference, NECC playoffs that are going to start up soon. So
Yeah, always something going on, right?
always something going on.
Um, well, before we get into the real meat, our playoffs here, I do want to touch on a little bit of what happened in the NECC last week. We had both our Overwatch teams, pick up pretty good 3-0s. Beacon against Cumberland and Shield against King's College, setting themselves on the right foot, before they get into NECC playoffs. And then Rocket League Gold also picked up a 3-0 versus Bradley. Your kind of younger brothers here, right?
Yeah, great wins from all those teams. I watched the game that Valpo Shield played for Overwatch. They were amazing the whole time. It was just utterly dominant from the tanks and from the healers. It's just if you have good supports, you have good tanks in Overwatch now. It's basically over. Um, that was still when before this most previous patch when
Right.
Reinhardt dominated everyone. It is if you had a good Ryan, you just won the game.
Oh
So
yeah. And Nick is an excellent Ryan, so
exactly, yeah.
um but those were kind of, the smaller matchups, the less exciting ones because we traveled, our kind of twice a year trip down to Ohio to compete against our other GLEC teams, and it was a big trip this time. It's the first time we've ever taken three teams. We had you guys representing Rocket League as well as our Smash Bros and Overwatch teams. And it was quite a crowded trip, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and I'm not sure, but I looked at the schedule. We might have been one of, if not the only school to take three teams, like one
I
team in each of the
I think
games that
there
were
was
there.
one other team, but yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I didn't quite figure it out. I just glanced briefly, but the fact that we did have three teams go is
Yeah,
awesome for the program, and we all did a lot, like surprisingly well.
yeah. As we take a look at the standings here, we'll get to each team in a little more detail, but Smash Bros with the best finish in second place, then you guys in fourth, and Overwatch in fifth. So all kind of finishing almost in that upper half. Overwatch as close as they can be, and everyone winning at least one game, and like you said, just qualifying to begin with. I mean, I guess we can touch on that a little bit
Oh
because
wow.
you guys had quite a road to even qualify for this playoffs.
We did. So for GLEC for Rocket League, we decided to basically take both of our Rocket League rosters, brown and gold, and put them together so that we could have enough people available to play all of the games that we needed to because it was a 15 game season and not everyone is going to be available at certain times. So it did work out in that way. We all were available to play all the games, and it came down at the end to a tiebreaker between us and
Baldwin, I believe.
Baldwin Wallace.
Yeah.
Yes. We were both 8-7, and we only won on the tiebreaker because we beat them in the regular season. But there's a story behind that
Yep.
game, which is incredible. Looking back, we only realized that this happened on the drive back
Yeah.
once we had finished. But that game against Baldwin Wallace was it was scheduled on the correct day. It was on a Saturday, so it was going to be at 12. So we woke up around like 10:30. You like to sleep in on the weekend because why not?
Of
And then
course.
show up to the lab and be ready to play. And we all had this all planned out. So I woke up at 10:30, right? To my phone getting spammed with messages. Hey, get to the lab right now. Be ready to play in 5 minutes. What? 5 minutes, Jeff? I'm in my bed
Yeah.
halfway across campus. There's no way I'm making it. And so apparently we had misread the schedule, and instead of saying 12 Central, it was
It was 12
12 Eastern,
Eastern, right?
11 Central. So we were in a bit of a panic, and we couldn't like. It was supposed to be me, Xander, Oblivious, and Josh Jank, and we were calling Josh everything. Homie was fast asleep.
Yeah,
He was not getting up for that. So we call Cole, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll be on." Or
yeah,
it was either Cole or Anthony. I can't remember who it was, but it ended up being Xander woke up, just got on his computer at home. Who it was Cole. Cole got up and either played from his house or came out here. I can't remember what he did, but then I had to roll in here because I was having some issues with my computer back in my dorm. So I rolled in here. We were all so tired. Like none of us had woken up, and we had to
yeah.
start playing immediately. There was no warm up.
Because you were already late.
Yeah, 'cause we
Like,
were already
yeah,
late. And then we just rolled it, and we lost the first two games. And we're like, oh well, at least if we get swept, we get to go back to bed. And then we woke up, and we were still kind of asleep. Our comms were asleep, but we just like started playing better a little bit, and we ended up reverse sweeping Baldwin
yep.
with me half asleep, Cole half asleep, and Xander literally asleep. I think he got off and went back to bed. So
Oh
that was
man.
just
Yeah,
the craziest experience. I'll look back at that and be like, wow, that was the game that got us into playoffs.
I
But it
know.
was crazy that we did, and I'm very happy we did because we had a lot of fun and some good experiences when we were there.
Yeah, and I mean, even beyond that, like you didn't know that at the time, but what you did know at the time is, you had two tough matchups to close it out against
Yeah,
Tiffin and Trine, and I think both of those went all 5 games.
they did.
Yeah.
They were the 3 and 4 seed at the time,
Yep.
and we scraped it out. None of them were reverse sweeps, but we did go to game five in both series, one in overtime, one not, and we ended up winning both of those game fives, and those were huge. This is what got us in.
Yeah.
We took on a crazy hot streak to finish out the GLEC. So
Regular season, yeah.
yeah,
And I mean, all of that just to get you here, and you get there, and waiting for you is a matchup against the number one
the number
team,
one seed.
Anderson.
They're undefeated. They're 15-0.
Yes.
We've played them in the regular season, and we look back at the tape, and we were like, well, they definitely look beatable because there were some things that we noticed that we could do tactically that we could try and take advantage of, and so we took down notes. Um, I we were refreshing right before the game started. We were like passing the notebook around and really making sure we had it nailed down. It was Cole, Anthony, and Xander. They were ready to go, ready to rock. Um, and yeah, we go into it not expecting, you know, like of course we thought we could win, but it was we
Right.
know it was gonna be really tough.
I mean, they are literally undefeated.
Yeah,
So,
literally undefeated.
yeah.
So we definitely had our appropriate fear, I would say. But we got into it and we started cooking. Everything that we wanted to do, we did, and we took advantage of exactly what we thought we could take advantage of, and it really worked out for us. And we ended up taking the series in 4 games, 1 versus 8, upset. It was huge.
Probably our biggest win, on the weekend. And, looking a little bit how that went, I think was it game one that went to overtime?
Yes, game one went to overtime, and then we lost game two, and
Yeah.
then won 3 and 4. Um,
So I mean, what are you thinking there? Game one in overtime, it's tight. You lose game two. I mean, I guess just what was it like having your very first game be an overtime game that went like, I think it was 5 minutes of
it
overtime.
was. It
Yeah.
was. We played a whole nother 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I was so stressed out because I'm not playing, so I'm sitting
Mhm.
there like trying to act like I'm playing. Like, okay, what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do now? I think
Yeah.
I was on someone's POV, like watching it. Oh man, I was so stressed. And then when it went in, I was just like relief, kind of just
Yeah.
started to settle into the series a little bit more, and we settled down too, and we really took it the rest of the series. But
Yeah.
uh,
I don't totally remember. Did you get in one of those games versus Anderson?
no, I didn't play
Okay.
against Anderson. But I think you should tell the story because you were standing behind us, watching us at the time. But 1 versus 8, right?
Yes.
Biggest upset of the tournament.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
um,
okay. I distinctly remember this. Tristan and I, our director Tristan and I, are standing back there watching because
and Bryce, right? Bryce
and
was there.
Bryce shows up. I don't know if was he there for the
Yeah, he
first
was there.
matchup.
I
Okay.
remember.
Yeah, Bryce, our Overwatch coach, is there too. We're standing by and watching you guys because we know like this is the matchup. Like this is kind of the big one of the tournament, right? And we're sweating out with you guys. Like that overtime, Tristan is like, he's looking at me. He's like, I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm gonna throw up. I can't handle
I
this.
can't handle it.
Yeah. So we're stressed out, obviously. And then, it's getting down to it. Game number 4. You guys are looking good. You close it out, and we're like, yes, they did it. Huge win. We look over at you guys, just stone face. No, no, no
I
emotion.
think
You're
I
just
think
like, yeah, good win, guys. Thank you.
I think I think we fist bumped like 2 times, and
Yeah,
then we were just like, yes, we did that,
yeah,
and then
good
that
win.
was it. We had like no reaction. I was ready to like explode or like start yelling or something, but nah, the guys
Yeah.
are just they were just like that, you know?
And it was hilarious the duality because on the other side of this room we
Oh
had
no.
we had Tiffin who has this
Oh
giant
man.
crowd behind them and they're just screaming and clapping and going wild for
Like
every
like
single
they like
goal.
they had someone someone got demoed way in the back line and the guy just took the ball and like dribbled it just straight, just in a straight line.
Yeah.
Scored. It was like the easiest goal he'd ever scored in his life. The people behind like screaming bloody murder, losing their
Yeah.
minds. They were like, "What? Did someone just hit like a triple flip reset or something?" No, we
Nope.
looked at the TV, the stream feed. It's just like,
Yeah.
no, he just rolled it in. It's like, okay, okay, guys.
Yeah. So just seeing the contrast between the two was hilarious. But like you said, it could have been the whole, you're stressed out and then finally it's just relief rather
Yeah,
than
yeah. I mean,
excitement.
it was also our first. We're all land rookies, so
Mhm.
to we have to kind of learn the land etiquette, a little bit. We have to know that that is something we can do. We can get
Yeah.
excited, we can get loud. It's totally acceptable to do that, and I'm looking forward to doing that more. I think it kind of helps boost morale a little bit, keep people up, keep chins up, especially when you go down, you have an unfortunate moment. I think that could really be helpful to prop up your team as you're playing. But
Yeah. I
we
mean,
definitely saw it could get excessive though.
I think that's kind of, a good segue, and maybe we can wrap back to the other teams, but, kind of like the overall experience and I guess, the different mentality and play style you have to bring when you're in a LAN environment. Being a rookie, what was it like kind of like figuring that out, I guess?
Yeah, it was tough, going somewhere you're not familiar with, having to play on a setup that's different, different monitor, different computer, different controls. You don't know how you're gonna feel. Um, yeah, you still have your like I had my controller with me. I had my, settings still in the game. It was really funny though when I loaded into the game at
Yeah.
there, I was like, why does it look like I just loaded me playing CS:GO? And I went to the resolution settings and I was like, it's in 4:3. What is this?
Yeah.
Someone was definitely playing Counter Strike on this computer. No, but then I switched it back and I felt better. But yeah, it's just there's little quirky things that you have to try and fit into a little bit. And I think the more we played, I think th- I think if it was spread out, like if we spread out our games more, we would have gotten better and better as it went on. But because we had to play 3 series back to back to back over
Yeah.
3 hours, being locked in like that intense competitive atmosphere for that long, it really drained us, and we definitely were tired by the last series.
Yeah. And I mean, taking a look at those other two series, you guys did lose to ONU and Tiffin,
Yeah,
both.
ONU was tight. A lot. They were very good. They made the finals, obviously, and faced Mount Union. I think Mount Union ended up winning that.
Yes, I believe they did.
Yeah, but they put up a fight. I think it was either 3-1 or 3-2 in that last series, but
Yeah.
they they are very good. So I have no shame in losing to them at all. I love those guys. They all came over and said congrats, and they were super respectful. So love you guys. That was a great series. And then we played Tiffin again in the third, fourth place game. And yeah, I think we were just tired by the end of it. it was still all right. All right fight. I think it was 3-1. We lost, but
Yep.
those things happen, and I'm totally okay with getting fourth place. Coming in
Yeah.
as an 8 seed, like anything above losing in the first round was going to be awesome for us,
Exactly.
and we
Yeah.
we greatly exceeded our expectations. And I'm very happy that we got to go and that we had the experience. So many things that, if we have time later, we could go into about all the stuff that we did outside of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just awesome to be able to go. And yeah, like you said, the other teams that went, Overwatch, they got fifth place. They lost their first game and then won their other two, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And I was thinking the whole time, this could have gone a lot differently, but I think for them it was some of that adapting as well, finding their rhythm in the first game. Didn't quite click, in time to get that victory over Tiffin, but you could see it, them getting comfortable and them, obviously winning the next two,
Yeah,
so
and I
feeling a
think I
lot
think
better in
it's
that. So
Yeah, I think it's even harder as someone who plays on a mouse and keyboard, a first-person shooter game. I think it's even harder than for us
yeah,
because they have to. Some of them don't bring their own equipment, and so they use keyboards and mice that they're unfamiliar with, and also monitors that could be a different size to what they're used to, a different pixel count that they're not used to. All these different outside factors that maybe you don't think about when going to a LAN, but it's something that they definitely had to adapt to. And I
yeah,
think they did a great job when they did. And I watched them play their last series; they were great.
they do look really good, uh, when I was talking to our director Tristan about it, he was like, it is so mental for this team. It's like when they're on, when they're on, when they're not, they're not.
Yeah,
And it's kind of just that X factor that are they feeling it today or are they not? So it's kind of tough to control something like that.
exactly.
And then touch on our other team, of course, Smash Bros, our highest finisher, second place, a little silver medal for them.
Smash was amazing. Like to get second place at all, like these tournaments are so competitive. It was awesome to see them get second. I know some people like Keegan may have wanted more, and I think they were capable of it too, but I don't think they should be hanging their heads or have any shame in second because second is amazing, especially considering who they went up against in the finals.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome that they were able to place higher than the likes of Bethel, who I know is great, and who they beat in the semifinal.
Well, Bethel was the semifinal.
Oh, it was all Alma in the first
Alma
round,
was in
and
the
then they
first
beat
round.
Bethel in the
Yes.
second round. So,
Yep.
yeah, those were two great wins.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I,
that atmosphere for Smash is ridiculous.
yeah. I mean, Smash is one of those games where like, that's how their game is meant to be played.
Yeah.
They always have a ton of in-person tournaments, and just because of the way the game is designed, they get into some of the background, oh, the way it's coded, and
I mean,
all
it's
that stuff.
crazy
But
for because I was roommates with Keegan my freshman year. You may know him as Laird,
yep,
who
the
on the
Samus.
Smash team, the
Yeah.
the very very good Samus that is on our team. But he would always talk to me about how the way that that game is designed, that playing online is almost impossible.
Yeah.
And for someone who is as good as him and at that level he plays at, I'd watch him play, in our room, and it was just he would always be like, if if I was on land, that's not a problem. I'm hitting that. I'm hitting
Yep.
that. Like everything that could go, like that didn't go his way was like something that could be fixed on land. And I 100% saw that at when we went because he was incredible in those first two series. He just cooked.
Yeah.
It was like he turned the game on easy mode somehow. But I completely understand it now, like how different it is, and I think it's great to have that atmosphere to be able to play in front of a crowd like that. I mean, it was rowdy.
Yeah, no, 100%. And, you know, like I was saying, I think that's, adds to the environment because everyone knows that, like, these players are at their peak because they're at LAN. And, all of the spectators, the fans, the other teammates are almost more hyped up for Smash Bros. Than, the other games. You see them
Oh
crowding
yeah,
around. Like, there was literally like 30 people trying to gather around the screen and see what
exactly.
was happening. Um, and like you said, they did just cook in those first two rounds against Alma, against Bethel. I mean, I think we really showed why we were the 2 seed coming in,
Yeah.
and we got to that finals matchup versus Manchester, which everyone expected. A repeat of spring 2022's
Yep.
final where we fell just short, and unfortunately, Manchester has improved in that year. So
It's kind of I I make the comparison to this because I feel like it's pretty like relevant to how the situation is.
yeah.
With it, in I go back to my eighth grade basketball.
Okay. Yeah.
We're going back here. So it's me and all of my classmates from my school. We all make a team together, and we go play in this league. We're like pretty good. We're all gonna, we have good chemistry. I mean, it's eighth grade. Like if you have
Yeah.
a few good players, you're gonna be good. Um, so we're cooking everybody. We have like no losses. We go, and then we have to go play this team called St. George, and we roll up to the gym. They only have four people warming up, and we have like eight, nine, right? Like a roster.
Yeah.
They only have four people, and it's like, we ready to start the game? Well, we got four guys, and we got one showing up, and it's like, can we just start the game with four, and he'll show up? We're like, okay.
Interesting.
We
All
walk
right.
out on the court to take the tip, and I kid you not. So eighth grade, we're all like, what? I might have been like five something.
Yeah.
Like I'm 6'3" now, but like I might have been five something then. I kid you not. Every dude on that court is 6 foot plus, super athletic. They're dunking
Holy cow.
in warm ups. This is eighth grade.
Yeah,
And
that's
they're
insane.
dunking, they're taking like 30-foot threes. I'm
Yeah.
like, what did I just walk into? As we were joking with our parents after the game. It was 4v5. They destroyed us.
Right.
Um, and we were talking after the game, and our parents kept making the jokes. So I bet, yeah, they drove themselves to their eighth grade basketball game. um, but like that's how it felt. I'm sure
Yeah.
for those guys against Manchester because it's just ridiculous the talent they have, and I think it also has in parts of the characters they play because it, there's this, the one guy played Min Min at like the most ridiculous level I've ever seen, and it's a character that you literally, I don't know how you beat that, like
Yeah.
for real. Like, what do you have to play to beat that?
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I don't know either. I'm not Smash Bros. Expert, but I just know that, every single one of those characters that Manchester pulled out, you talk about the Min Min, that was the guy that used to play Steve, an equally frustrating
Oh,
character.
oh man.
And then, you have the Kazuya and then you have the Terry as well. And I mean, that Kazuya, I was shocked at the amount of damage those combos do.
Yeah, he just like I hit you one time. Oh, I hit you once. Let me hit you like eight more, and
Yeah.
you can't get out of it. It's like before with Overwatch before it changed. You just got put in a stun lock. You instantly died. Like
Yeah.
that's how it felt.
No, Kazuya would literally like stun our guys and then boom, 70, 80%. And it's like, okay, I
I
can't do
know.
anything about
And
that.
then
So,
the Kazuya got hit like four times, like off the stage over 100%, and just didn't die. Like went over
yeah,
200% multiple times.
yeah. So, I mean, obviously Manchester incredibly skilled. You can't feel bad at all
Oh
about
no,
losing to those
absolutely
guys.
not.
So, although I'm sure some members of our team do, but
Yeah, I would
um
too. I mean, that's how I take it. I don't care if you're 800 times better than us. I still want to win. I still want to beat you.
yeah. So, I mean, I think that's, they're definitely the king of the hill, and that's, what to aim for. I think this whole entire
Absolutely.
next year,
Absolutely.
our team is going to be like, okay, how do we come back better? How do we give ourselves a chance to,
Yeah.
avenge this? So, I mean, I think that kind of recaps, all of our games, all of our matchups there. But, kind of outside of that, what was the overall experience like? You had the opportunity to, do a lot of things and, bond with the team outside of the tournament and kind of explore the city a little bit. What was that like?
Oh man, the we learned so much about each other just from going on that one trip for like 20 something,
I think it was
26
like
hours,
36 hours. Yeah,
36 hours,
yeah.
somewhere around there. Yeah, it was amazing. So many good stories, so many little tidbits that like we know about each other now. That's, half of those jokes got brought up again today in practice
Yeah,
just because, you know, um I guess I could tell the stories. We have time for a few
Yeah, we
stories, do
got
we?
time for a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
here.
Okay. So on we leave campus at about 6:30
Yep.
a.m. somewhere
Yep.
around there. We get in the car. We're all ready to go. It's our director Tristan, you, and the Rocket League team. So me, Xander, Cole,
Cole
and
and
Anthony.
Anthony. Yep.
And so we get in the car. We're ready to go. Tristan turns around and says, "All right, boys, what music do you want to listen to on the way there?" No one says anything. It's like 6:30. We're all dead asleep still.
Yeah.
Anthony says, I hit us with some lo-fi beats."
Yep.
Like, all right, I can vibe to lo-fi.
Uh huh.
And then he puts it on, right? It was like, good start, good start. We're vibing.
Yeah.
And then like it was 30 minutes or an hour into the trip. We're just like kind of sitting there still. It switches to something, and Xander is like his. You can see he's like a dog, like his ears pricked up,
Perk
and
up. Yeah.
he's like, "Is this Pokemon music?" It turned out the playlist moved to Pokemon Lo-Fi,
yeah.
and they were just every song that came up. The three, I don't know much about Pokemon, so the other three guys in the back
Yeah.
seats behind me were like guessing which Pokemon song was like got changed to lo-fi.
Yeah.
It was really funny because they were trying to figure it out. It
They're like,
was
oh, this is the first trainer jam or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
You know?
This is
Yeah.
like, oh, this is the travel music or this is the
Yeah.
gym music. I had no idea what they were talking about, but it
Mhm.
was hilarious that way. And then also on the drive there, apparently we had to teach Xander what the alphabet game was.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. Growing up as a kid, I feel like everybody had to play the alphabet
I
game.
played the alphabet game.
I
Yeah.
played the alphabet game. Xander did not, but now he has.
Mhm.
We told him how it works. She's like, you gotta find words that
Mhm.
are outside of the car, and you have to go through the alphabet, A, B, C, D, all the way through. And he's like, okay, okay, I got it. He like flew through the first like 7 letters,
Oh yeah.
and then he got to like J, and then K, and then he was like staring for like 30 minutes trying to find it.
Luckily, we had like a 4 hour
We
drive.
did have a four and a
Yeah.
half hour drive for him to find it, but we were getting down to we were almost in Columbus,
Mhm.
and he still had X, Y, and Z to go,
Tough ones too.
tough ones
Yeah.
to finish out. And we're like, Xander, we only got like 15 minutes, man. You gotta get on it. He's like, oh no, I gotta get on it. And what was X? What did we find
X
that?
was on the back of like a Ford or something, and
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it was like the name of one of the Ford pickup trucks. They
yeah,
had they had an X in the name of it, and so we counted that, and then we're down to Y and Z, and then we're pulling into our lunch stop for the day. We're about to turn left, like across the street to get there. We still don't have Y and Z, and we're like, Xander, you have to get it before we get in there. We
yeah.
drive past like two signs, and on one there's a bunch of words on one sign, and he's like, uh, 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 I found him. It says you, and then it says I can't remember what Z was now. Dang it.
Z was for the towing zone.
Oh, it was the
Yeah, yeah,
tow is zone. Yeah, he
yeah.
said zone on the sign. He had you and zone, and the whole car just lost it. Like, yeah, we
Dude, because
did
that
it.
towing zone sign was literally like as we were turning into the
As we were
restaurant.
turning in, it
Yeah.
was perfect. It was great timing. So we we got that. Xander was so proud of himself, and honestly, I was so proud of him too.
I mean, moment of the trip, to be
Moment
honest. Like,
moment of the trip until we went inside to our lunch stop.
exactly.
Exactly, because we also found out Xander had never had Raising Cane's before. I don't know if you have,
Uh, The
but
greatest
it
restaurant on earth. Like, come
S
on.
S tier fast food restaurant. We we also found that on the menu, by the way, if you want to at Raising Cane's, you can order a single chicken finger.
That is true.
Just a
Yes.
single finger,
Uh
one
huh.
singular. You could order that if
Yeah.
you want to. They'll just like give you a side eye if you do though.
Yeah. They're joking
But
about that. We
yeah.
got Father Pyro in chat saying that you can order 100 of them as well if you
Oh yeah,
want.
we looked at that too. I think there was like the big catering deals we had. We were
Yeah.
like, all right, guys, do we want to pay a couple $1,000 to get a
Yeah,
bunch of
just
chicken?
split it like what,
Yeah, why
20,
not, right?
25 each?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Honestly, I probably could have eaten that much, man. I was hungry,
Oh yeah.
but Raising Cane's is amazing. I went there. I got myself a box combo. I'm a big box combo fan. Caniac if I'm feeling really hungry, but
Yeah.
I like me a box combo. And I said,
Gotta
Xander,
get
you
gotta
got,
get the extra sauce too. You
yeah,
know.
you got to get the extra sauce, and then I sub out the coleslaw
Yep.
for an extra piece of toast because that's what I'm feeling.
So,
So I did that. Xander came up behind and was like, "All right, can I have what he had?" And he so we got our food and we're like, "All right, man, how is it?" He takes one bite. He doesn't say anything. He just keeps eating.
uh-huh. He's just
He just
nodding.
he's just like a nodder, and he's like, "Guys, this is really good." And then he's like, that was the highlight of the trip for him.
Oh yeah.
He
I mean,
said,
you guys were more excited about that than beating Anderson. So.
yeah, no, we definitely were. Like,
Uh,
it was basically beating Anderson, um,
Alphabet game.
Alphabet Game, Canes, and then the Mario movie.
Yeah. Okay, so
I
we
guess.
you can touch on the Mario movie,
Oh
but just
no.
make it quick here because we do
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
wrap up
yeah.
soon.
We had to. So after we were done with our games, we had like 4 hours to like waste basically,
Yeah.
and so we walked across like out across the street. Anthony said, "Hey guys, let's go exploring." So we did, and then we found this movie theater that looked like it was abandoned. Basically, we were like, "Oh, the door's open." We walk in, it's like totally open, but it literally looks like you walked into a Fallout game. Like it's all
Yeah.
like torn apart. It's like awful condition. We don't know what to do. We text Mike. We're like, "Hey, can we see the Mario movie?" Because I had seen it before, but
Yeah.
Xander Cole and Anthony hadn't seen it. So he's like, "Yeah, sure, go for it." We pay. We go in. The bathroom looks like you could get like um,
Disease.
something not good would happen to
Yeah.
you if you went in that
Okay.
bathroom. And then we walked in. We walked down the hallway. The hallway is so dark. It's like darker. It was. I swear, it was darker in the hallway than the actual movie theater. It was really creepy. And then
Interesting.
we get into the theater. We walk in. You have two options for seating. One is like the it's like a rigid back that's like completely flat, but it's like padded, like really nice padding, but it was just straight vertical up and down, so it
Oh,
wasn't really that comfortable. Or you had rolly office chairs.
like
It's
these things
like
almost.
these
Yeah.
things, but for like leaning back and watching a movie. Those were actually kind of comfy, so we took those. And we proceeded to watch the Mario movie, and it was great. The theater was awful. The lights didn't dim all the way. There was no bass at all in the
Yeah.
speakers. It was terrible. And it was like the sketchiest thing ever, but Xander is now addicted to Peaches by Jack Black. Um,
And by proxy, Tristan's daughter is
oh
now
yeah.
addicted to it as well.
Oh
So,
no.
I mean, it's just like a virus. Everyone's
Oh,
listening to Peaches
everyone's get
now.
it.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like Peaches, man. If you
Yeah.
haven't, go listen to it. Absolutely
True.
fire.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
Oh man. I mean, yeah, you guys had, a ton of excitement and adventures there. And, as far as playing Rocket League goes, you still got a little bit more. We've got the NECC playoffs, our other conference coming up,
We do.
this Friday actually, and
Hmm.
you got a pretty tough draw for round 1 in Mount Union here, but kind of just quickly, what are your expectations and thoughts for these playoffs here?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were in a pretty good mental state. Obviously, that trip really brought us closer together. I think we're playing well. Anthony's playing really well right now, so hopefully he can continue that form. And yeah, all the guys are looking good. We're doing a film review the next couple days. Really get ready. We have a bunch of film on them from obviously the um they won the GLEC
Yep.
land, so we have a lot of film from that from playing recently, and then also from us playing them earlier in the year. So we have a lot of experience with that, and let's see if they get a little overconfident after winning that land. We'll
Yeah.
see if we can knock them back down a pedestal. But in all seriousness, we'll do our best. We'll do the research. We'll put in the work, and yeah, just take it from there.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see that, and I'm sure we'll have a stream on here that anyone watching can come tune in and see you guys in round 1 on Friday night. I think that's gonna about do it for this episode. You got any other final thoughts, shout outs here before we close this thing out?
No, just thank you to everybody for supporting us through everything. It's because of you guys that we get to go out and do fun things like you just heard about. And yeah, thank you to Keegan who had a little setup there. He was recording some footage, so you might see that pop up on our social channels,
Yeah.
YouTube. eventually, but had a fun little uh, vlogging type thing that we did for this land. So it was really fun. Just thank you to Tristan, you, Mike, and everyone who helped put this together. This was an awesome, awesome thing that I really hope we get to do again sometime because it was so much fun and
Yeah.
we did so much. So thank you to all you guys for supporting us all through that.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me today. That's going to do it for this episode of the Beacon Breakdown. I'm Mike.
I'm Soren.
See you next time.